Guillermo Del Toro has come out with another film that has been nominated for a bunch of Golden Globes, is nominated for a bunch of Oscars, and people are saying that it's his best film since Pan's Labyrinth. Now that's a conversational point, so I'd say let's just get started. So The Shape of Water is a new film directed by Guillermo Del Toro, and it's about a character played by Sally Hawkins who only speaks in sign language because she's mute, and she works with Octavia Spencer as a janitor in this underground facility where they're trying to discover how to defeat the Russians in getting into space. During this time period, a mysterious creature is brought into the lab, and Sally Hawkins begins to start having some kind of a connection with it. And we have another fairy tale made by Guillermo Del Toro, and that's one of the best things I love about Guillermo Del Toro. With Pan's Labyrinth, and more specifically with The Shape of Water, his films do feel like very mature fairy tales in the same vein of the Grimm brothers. And The Shape of Water, it is really good. I do have issues with it, but let's start with some positives. Number one, I really gotta respect this story, because although it does have various tones that other films have had in the past, there is something about this movie that is just so sweet and so original that I gotta admire just the filmmaking quality of this. Speaking of the filmmaking quality, the entire film, it looks gorgeous, as most Guillermo Del Toro films do. I mean, everything is so lush, so beautiful, and there's so much contrast within the colors and technical aspects of this film. I just loved looking at everything visually that was on screen. Also, the performances across the board were great. Richard Jenkins in this film was a character that I loved. His performance was very subtle, and I thought he was great, but it all comes down to two performances for me, although I do believe that Octavia Spencer was really great as well. It comes down to Michael Shannon and Sally Hawkins. Let's start with Michael Shannon. His character in this film, he has got to be the most unsettling character I have seen on screen in a while. When he's on screen, you are locked in attention, and whenever he speaks, I mean, it just gave me goosebumps. It made me feel as uncomfortable as I could be sitting inside of a movie theater seat. And now Sally Hawkins. The best thing about Sally Hawkins' performance in this movie is the fact that she doesn't use any words. She uses all sign language, like I've said before. And for an actor to be able to convey just pure emotion without having to use words, without having to say anything, it's a difficult thing to pull off for sure, but if it's pulled off well, it is masterful. Luckily, this is masterful. I absolutely loved Sally Hawkins' performance. I mean, it's between her and Margot Robbie as far as Best Actress is concerned for me. Sally Hawkins is so great in this movie, and I cannot wait to see more from her. The romantic aspect and the idea about human connection in this film was really well handled too. I didn't realize that this is a side that Guillermo Del Toro had to him when it comes to his filmmaking, but he shows that he is very excellent in that area. I mean, the way the characters interacted, the way that this sort of romance built between Sally Hawkins and this mysterious creature, it was very, very well done in my opinion. And to be all honesty, I never thought in a million years that I would fall for a romance between a fish man and a human being. But this is probably the most romantic movie I have seen in a long time. The way the characters interacted and the way the relationships were built between everybody in the film, it was so sweet, so romantic, and just so well handled. Unfortunately, that does bring me to my issue with the film, and that's with its tone. The tone in this film, for the most part, is a very romantic, very loving movie. But the biggest problem I had is because it's Guillermo Del Toro, there's always some extremely graphic violence on screen, or there's just a lot of blood. I also felt that the movie drug out for about 15 minutes too long. If they had cut that out, the length of this movie would have just been about perfect. Guys, what it comes down to is that The Shape of Water, it is a really good Guillermo Del Toro film. It is an enjoyable film. It is a film I will probably watch and analyze over and over again. But do I think it's as good as Pan's Labyrinth, and do I think it's as sacred and as great as most people are saying it is? Not exactly. And I might absolutely get some hate for that, but at the end of the day, did you guys come here to hear my opinion, or did you come here for me to agree with every other opinion about the Oscar bait movies that have come out so far? With all the tonal discrepancies it has, I still had a great time with The Shape of Water. It's a fantastic romantic movie, and I'll say that The Shape of Water is a good casual watch. But as always, it is what you guys say that matters. So have you had a chance to see The Shape of Water, and what did you think of it? More importantly, what is your favorite Guillermo Del Toro film? I'd really be interested to know. But whatever your choice may be, put it down in the comment section below so we can get a conversation started. And as always, if you like what you've seen here and you want to see more, click right there and subscribe and become part of the fray of nerds who love cinema. You all have a fantastic day.